The watcher. Lena stood at the window, her eyes fixed on the dark sky beyond. It was late, and she had long since finished reading for the night, but she couldn't shake off the feeling of restlessness that lingered in her bones. As she gazed out into the void, Lena began to notice something peculiar. A figure seemed to be standing just beyond the reach of the streetlights, its presence almost imperceptible. At first, she thought it was just her imagination playing tricks on her, but as the minutes ticked by, the figure remained, steadfast and unblinking. Lena's heart began to pound in her chest as she tried to convince herself that there was no one there. But the feeling persisted, a creeping sense of unease that seemed to seep into her very pores. She tried to distract herself with thoughts of work and errands, but her mind kept drifting back to the figure by the window. As the night wore on, Lena found herself becoming more and more agitated. She paced back and forth across the room, trying to shake off the feeling of being watched. But no matter where she looked, there was never anyone there. It was as if the figure had become a part of the very fabric of reality itself, an unseen presence that haunted her every step. Lena's nerves were stretched to the breaking point when she heard a faint scratching sound at the window. She froze, her eyes locked on the glass as if it might shatter and reveal the face of the figure beyond. The scratching grew louder, more insistent, until Lena felt as though she was being pulled toward the window by an unseen force. She hesitated for a moment, her hand trembling as she reached out to open the sash. And then, with a sense of trepidation, she leaned forward into the night. Outside, there was only darkness, but in that void, Lena thought she saw something moving. A figure, tall and imposing, its face twisted into a grotesque grin. Lena's scream was drowned out by the sound of her own heart pounding in her ears. She tried to pull back, but it was too late. The figure reached out, its cold fingers closing around her wrist like a vice. The last thing Lena saw was the dark shape looming over her, before everything went black. The next morning, police officers found Lena's car parked outside her apartment building, but there was no sign of the young woman herself. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. As they searched the premises, they discovered a single piece of paper on the windowsill, a note that read, "I'm still here."